Alright, welcome back to the channel, and I figured, hey, before I start streaming Spyro on a regular basis, I just need to wrap up my review series of Spyro, and I'll just go ahead and do that today. I'll go ahead and get probably, in my opinion, out of the 3 Spyro games, there's a little nitpicks I have with this game, but other than that, this game is probably the most refined version of Spyro that, out of the 3 games, this is probably, minus some little nitpicks, is probably the best out of the 3. Now that I've had time to set with them all, I think 3 is the best. I feel like it works perfectly. But pretty much the gist of the game is that, the dragon eggs this time have been stolen, and it's up to Spyro and Hunter to go on the other side of the dragon worlds to retrieve all these eggs. And what's interesting about this one is you can actually play as multiple characters other than just Spyro. And I want to just go, I'm not going to go in any order because I don't know the exact order you unlock all the characters, but I'm just going to start off with just naming the characters off. So first character is the character that's been around since the first game, and that is Sparks, which in the gameplay, he's the little dragonfly that flies and acts as your health bar. You get mini missions playing as Sparks, which is really cool, but you'll probably play as him more towards the latter part of the game. Then you have Hunter, which I think you only fly as Hunter. You either fly or ride on stuff. You don't actually run and jump and all that with Hunter. You mostly are in a vehicle with Hunter. Then you got Sheila the kangaroo, which she's pretty cool. I like Sheila. You got Agent 9, which is pretty much a monkey with a gun. That's all you got to know about Agent 9. Then you got Sergeant Bird, which I personally like Sergeant Bird. He's pretty cool. I'm trying to think okay, there's Bentley the Yeti, which he actually has some pretty interesting. I like his missions too. They're not too bad. And then obviously you have Spyro, and I think that's all the characters. You got Sheila, Sparks, Spyro, Bentley, Agent 9, and Sergeant Bird. I think that's all the characters you can play as. I might be missing out on a character, but I don't think I am. I think that's all of them. And they each, the missions in this game, I love how they're catered to, if you're playing as a specific character, the missions are catered towards that character. For example, Spyro has the main levels that he can play as. Sheila has levels dedicated to, since she's a kangaroo, she can jump high. She can smash shit. She's a lot stronger than Spyro, and she can jump higher than Spyro, obviously. So she has, height levels that she can do, which is pretty cool. Agent 9 has, the most famous, I don't know if it's the most famous, but for me, the most memorable mission with Agent 9 is when you're pretty much, I think it's a side mission in one of the main worlds. It's a western world, and you shoot lizards, cowboy lizards, and you're in first person. It's literally playing Time Crisis, but in a Spyro game. If you all have ever played Time Crisis, you know what I'm talking about. That's what it feels like. But you're playing as a monkey with a laser gun and shooting lizards dressed up as cowboys. That's probably the most memorable mission that I can remember with Agent 9. Sergeant Bird, obviously, he can fly, so there's levels dedicated to him dropping bombs on people, which is kind of fun. There's one area in one of the maps where you have to drop a bomb to open up another part of that area in the map, which is really cool. He can also shoot missiles and all that. Then there's this one, I don't think it's a boss battle. It's not technically a boss battle, but you do have to fight a bunch of enemies in the air, which is kind of tedious. Because if you don't understand how the missiles work, they do lock on if you're so close to them. And they'll follow the enemies, which is pretty cool. Sparks, like I said, he's in a more condensed small area, and the only thing I can compare it to is If you've ever, I'm trying to remember what the game's called. I can't remember the name. I know the name of the game, and I might throw up the cover of the game. I can't think of the name, but I can see it in my head. I know the game. It was on 360, but it's literally like those types of levels, but you're pretty much flying around with sparks, and I'll probably throw up the cover of the game at some point. I'll try to remember the name of the game, and I'll throw up the cover, and then you all get an understanding of what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Sparks is in a more condensed area. He has like, one thing I think of is when you're like, one reminiscent level I had is when you're playing Lego Star Wars and you're like flying around in parts of the Death Star in like an X-Wing or whatever. It's very reminiscent of that when you're flying around with Sparks. And then the last character is Bentley, which pretty much, he's just brute strength. That's all he's really catered to is strength. So he just walks around and he like bashes groundhogs. There's one level where he boxes another enemy, which pissed me off because it took me a minute to get a sense of everything, like because the hits wouldn't register fully and all that, and it would piss me off. But I digress with that. So, and then for the actual game itself, for like the level design, really phenomenal. They have some memorable level designs in this game, just like in Spyro 1 and 2. And then one thing I really give props to this game, and this is what I mean by it being very like the redefined like, it is literally like, this makes me feel like they really went all in with this game when they made it back in the 90s, is there's two, I think they did in Spyro 2 also with Ripto and his goons, but they have it where you have one goon, you beat them, the second goon, you beat them, but then like as you're fighting, the goons do come back. I think when you're fighting the I think her name's the Huntress. I forget her name, but you don't see her in this gameplay. But the Sorceress. Her name's the Sorceress. My bad. It's been a minute since I've played this. It's been a couple months since I've played, but pretty much you have the Sorceress, which she's the main villain. Which, spoiler alert, she comes back at the very end of the game. So you think you beat her, then her arm shoots out of the lava, and you're like, she's not dead. She's pulling a shredder from that one Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. But yeah, I thought that was really cool how they did this game, and you could tell that they were very focused to make this like one of the best Spyro experiences you could have. And hopefully we get more Spyro games in the future. If we don't, I guess that's cool, but either way, I really enjoyed this series. Check out my streams for Spyro and my other reviews. I'll catch you.